Creativity changes the everyday. Creativity is beautiful. Creativity is active. Creativity is freedom. Alpha NEX5 debut.
Sony.
Well, Lee Hawkins, you're Director of Sales and Marketing Australia for the Ascott Limited. Now, I have to say, until we met at the ATEX Symposium on the wonderful Sunshine Coast, I really didn't know much about the Ascott, and you told me a lot about it, okay? But I know you've got some properties in Australia, but also many, many properties globally. So why don't we kick off first with the Australian properties and tell me a bit about them?
Okay, we are based in Hobart, Melbourne and Perth in Australia. Our products Somerset, serviced residence, and Citadines are part hotels, and really our properties cater for both short and long stay, and ultimately your home away from home.
Now, the sign behind you says defining global living. Tell me a bit about that. How does that fit into those products?
I think our core business is relocating people from different countries. So defining global living is that you can go to any country in the world and stay at an Ascott property, whether it be the Ascott property, the Somerset or the Citadines, and you can have a beautiful experience and feel welcomed and at home and integrate into the city.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So what sort of facilities would I find at an Ascott property, say, you know, one of the ones you mentioned in Australia?
Well, we really do have very similar facilities to what a hotel does.
Okay.
The beauty, I guess, of our apartments is that you have a bigger space to live in, and you have very friendly staff that will really cater to your requirements as an individual. And ultimately, you can still have your gym, your swimming pool, your restaurants.
Excellent. So it's a lot of your market, therefore, is people who are relocating corporately and stuff like that, but also people if they want to stay in a city for, I mean, what sort of 2 weeks is about your minimum, or do you take one-nighters, or is it you tend to go for longer stays?
We take one-night stays, and we take one-year stays.
Okay, cool.
So ultimately, you know, the length of stay is irrelevant to really our product. It's just that you have the beauty of being able to sit in a lounge room and not having to see the bed, or having to have breakfast in the apartment rather than spending a high amount perhaps at breakfast.
Excellent, cool. So in terms of the sorts of locations for your Australian properties, where are they located in those cities? Are they CBD or?
Yes, all of our properties globally are based CBD, very central locations. In Melbourne we are in Burke Street, which is a fantastic location. Also right next to Myers and Elizabeth Street. In Hobart we're based on the pier and at Somerset at the Salamanca Market. So great locations. And in Perth we're located on St George's Terrace. So I don't think
couldn't be better, could it?
Central.
I think it's great that you're able to offer a product in Australia that also has an international reputation as well, because Australia is a small part of that product, but I know you also sell the international products, and I know we're in Australian Tourism Exchange, but tell me a little bit about where you've got properties around the world. I mean, it would be impossible for you to tell me them all, but just mention some countries and what sort of properties they are.
Okay, well, we are a Singaporean company, so we have a very big strength in Asia. Our growth areas at this point are China, Vietnam, and India. We have a lot of properties in Singapore, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Thailand. We have a lot of property and product through Europe. I think it's about 22 properties in Paris alone.
What, 22 properties in Paris? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And they vary in size, I would imagine?
They do. So across the three brands, actually our Citadines in Melbourne is our flagship Citadines with 380 rooms, so it's quite a large property. But a lot of the properties would probably be 100 to 200 rooms. Okay,
so they're all quite a big size, So what's the difference between the Ascott, the Residence, Ascott, the Citadines, and Somerset?
Well, we don't really like to star rate our properties.
No.
We really are looking at the experience and the clientele and what their needs are. So Citadines Apart Hotel is a central, CBD based, and people that want to go out and experience the city. Our Somerset really caters well for families that like to travel because the rooms are a larger size, they've got self-catering, and the Ascott would be for perhaps your senior traveller within a corporate company or someone that likes a little bit of luxury.
Okay, cool. So in terms of your time at ATE here, what message have you been communicating to the trade from all over the world that have been here at ATE?
I think in some parts of the world, apartment properties are still perhaps a little taboo. That we have all of the facilities of a hotel and we still have a 24-hour reception and security being one of our strong points. So we really try and get people to understand that, you know, really staying in an apartment, you have all the hotel facilities, but you have the beautiful space of the apartment, and you have the extra security. Globally, our lobbies are quite small, and that's a point of difference because we know everybody that comes in and out of the apartments. So you're not just a number walking through that perhaps could go up and you're not staying in the hotel. So security is always
I've never thought about that reason for small lobbies. Okay, so in terms of, are you listed with wholesalers and tour operators, or do you do most of your business direct or through travel agents or all systems?
Well, we worked with a lot of the major ITOs here in Melbourne and in Australia. But we work with a lot of partners through the ITOs in UK, Europe, Italy, Germany, China.
Just goes on,
so
well, look, you know, congratulations. I mean, it must be quite an accolade to be working, you know, sort of in the sales and marketing role for such a huge global operation that I think most people in Australia in many ways probably don't know too much about. So I'm sure you got your hands full in getting that message out there, so congratulations. Now, in terms of a URL where people can find out more information about the Ascott Group, where would they go?
Well, they can go to www.theascott. It's the-Ascott.
The-Ascott, and it's ASCOTT.
Correct.
.com.
And that URL will take you to any of the 3 brands, including our corporate site.
Well, Lee Hawkins, thank you very much indeed. I hope AT has been successful for you, and good luck in the role, and let's see Ascott really kicking some goals.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.